Hi, Rachael Hutchinson. Nice to meet you. Thanks for joining me today.
No worries, no worries.
We're going to have a little chat today about your forthcoming event for the Audacious Women Festival and all of the people who've been following the festival platforms. We'll be interested to hear a bit more about your event, which is going to be online rather than in person. So, first of all, I'd just like to ask you, just tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do, what your background is.
Okay, well, say I'm Rachel and I'm 50 years old and I have a 16-year-old and 13-year-old children. I'm a consultant orthopedic surgeon in Norwich and have been a consultant here for about 13 years. I work a lot with people with disabilities and limited ability, and about 3 or 4 years ago, made contact sort of by chance, really, with a gentleman called John Thaxton, who is a former British and European boxing champion. He's become a personal trainer. Myself and my daughter were doing a couple of sessions with him, and I said to him at the time, I really think this would work for my patients. So we started some classes up, which have turned into us owning our own specially adapted gym and a whole series of classes. Through that, I've myself used boxing and fitness, but in particular the boxing, to get myself fitter again because I hadn't really been since I'd had my children, and as a sense of sort of mental well-being as such. So um, I use the boxing to build my confidence through a period that was quite difficult for me, and also learn and became a instructor and trainer in fitness in order to aid the stuff that we were doing down at our gym, which is called Able to Be. So that's sort of how I ended up getting into it and working with a professional boxer. Now, I obviously don't fight, and there's various different types of boxing. You don't have to hit people to box. I've been training with some of the professional boxers for 2 or 3 years, but we train on bags, we train on pads. And to me, it's a sport that's very, very easy to pick up. It's not complicated. You can feel like you've got something from in any session, even if it's your first session ever, up to being very, very fit. It's quite empowering. It sort of produces a feeling of confidence and feeling strong. And it's very disciplined. It works the whole body. It works your balance. It works your core. It teaches you to be fit over short periods of time, but also have the endurance, because we tend to work in 3 minute blocks. So it isn't necessarily what people think it is. And I think that's why it's something to go and give a go that's different, because I think you'll find it's something that is not how you're perceiving it to be. I also think if anyone's worried that they can't do it, please come along. In our disabled classes, we have people with very limited mobility in long-term wheelchairs who can do our classes, up to, as I say, people who are in the training as professional boxers. So don't be scared to give it a try.
Yeah, that sounds good. It's interesting that you gave that description of boxing being that you're not fighting with people, because it did strike as curious with your background medically as an orthopedic surgeon, that you're doing a sport that's known for being quite physical and aggressive and putting people in harm. But what you're saying is you're focusing on all the physical elements that make you, prior to actually boxing with somebody. So, and boxing is typically a male activity. That's how we think of it. Although, of course, we have had a British champion, haven't we? A female champion who's retired. And I imagine that lots of women will, struggle with going into environments where probably it's dominated by men. So, how do you encourage women to get involved in this sport and overcome some of those barriers, if you like?
Um, it's a slightly difficult one because everybody's got their own choices. I mean, obviously, as an orthopedic surgeon, I work largely in a male environment anyway. I've got 32 colleagues and 30 of them are male. And certainly when I started, I was one of the first females in the UK to be a consultant in orthopedics. So I'm fairly used to that kind of environment. But when I first went to boxing gym, I did find it intimidating, not so much for being female, but being a female in her 50s suddenly thrown into a boxing gym with lots of young men. I thought, well, they're going to reject me, you know, it'll be a problem. But they couldn't have been more welcoming. For again, there can be perceptions about the type of person that might be in a boxing gym, and it does probably attract a certain type of person, but I've never met a group of people who were so accepting, and everybody was on a level playing field and you were respected by working hard. So I've not found that difficult. Increasingly, if you are truly into the boxing, there are more and more female classes and clubs and times to go when it is addressing just women.
Yeah, that's
but
great.
there's also, because it's such an all-round sort of activity as far as the muscles that it works and the aerobic fitness, that's why there's been this trend towards sort of sidestep of cardio box and boxercise, and because it is, as I say, something that you can pick up very easily starting from a very sort of basic unfit level. And I'm not surprised that over the last few years there's been a real surge in those kind of classes, which obviously are more or certainly taken up by women. The class I run online will be very much like that. It'll be learning a series of moves and sequences that we gradually build on through the session. You don't need any kit for it. You need a space of about arm's width. That's it. You don't need lots of room. If you want to do it sitting, you can do it sitting. If you want to do a bit of standing, bit of sitting, that's absolutely fine. As I say, I would come and give it a go. We work a lot with perceptions, and I work a lot with perceptions with the people I work with disability and the older population and things. And we've had so many people say, I didn't know I could do that, or, you know, I wish I'd tried that before. So I think there's only really one way to find out, and what's the worst can happen is you don't take anything from it, or you don't enjoy it. But I think that's unlikely based on my own experience.
Yeah. Good.
Yeah.
So from what you're saying, it sounds as if this session is really suitable to people with quite low level of physical fitness because they could do it seated. But people who've got more are better, more fit, and maybe are more active and doing other things, they'll be able to push themselves a bit further with some of the
They'll be able to
showing
push
them.
themselves through
Okay.
it as
So
well.
this is an introduction to the typical exercise routines that you would be doing if you were to go into, if you know, go to boxing class as an introduction to it.
Exercise or cardio box class, it would be very similar to that. Some of the things that we'll be doing are similar to you might do in a sort of professional boxing gym, but you would normally use a bag or some pads or something like that, where you obviously won't be doing that. We'll be doing what's essentially classed as shadow boxing, but it will still get the heart rate up. And I've found a lot of people who've struggled who've wanted to get back into exercise and struggled to find something that works for them. This has, again, for the reasons that we've already said. I mean, you can go and have, say, your first game of badminton or something like that as something you're interested in to get fit, but you know, it's hard to achieve in the first few sessions because you've got techniques to learn. These techniques are so easy and you can build on them to make them more complicated. That actually it is a brilliant way if anyone's thinking about, oh, I ought to do a bit more exercise, of doing it without feeling completely overwhelmed.
Yeah. So there's something else that you said earlier, just to pick up on as well, is that not only is this about physical fitness and helping with your physical fitness, but there's also something about im- your strength and feeling and body confidence.
Yeah,
And
absolutely. I
build,
mean,
yes, got and building that up and feeling stronger physically.
absolutely. So about 3 years ago, I went through a really tough patch for me, with work and my mental health and various things. And that was around the time, I was working with John. He said to me, right, you're not sitting at home, get down this boxing gym. And gradually, yes, it turned me around. It made me feel a hell of a lot better about myself. I was at a stage where I wouldn't look in a mirror or anything. And you just, it's hard to explain without actually trying it, but it makes you feel like you've got a little bit of strength and power, and it then makes you feel much stronger mentally. I mean, it's a great source of getting rid of frustration anyway. But as I say, there's a deeper side to it than that, when you've done a session, or certainly that's what I found, it's like, oh, actually, I do feel good about myself. And I think that is what a lot of other people have said as well. We've worked with quite a lot of teenage girls who can start to feel less confident, and aren't, when they're going out looking for jobs and things like that, they're not selling themselves as well as maybe the equivalent male would in their peer group. And we've been able to bring out their confidence and make them feel that they have got a place. And it's maybe partly the way that we run the classes, but I think it is just the technique. It just makes you feel really, really good about yourself and really, really strong.
Yeah, no, that sounds great. And I can totally relate to what you're saying, that there is this thing about men fill a space and women shrink quite often within the space they have. They take up less room. So when you've got that kind of confidence, you do fill the space more and become more noticeable, standing out and taking ownership. And so it sounds really powerful stuff that you're doing. I guess that a lot of people will be wondering, well, how will it work online if they've not done an online exercise class before?
Well, so we've been running our virtual classes since the start of the first lockdown, so for about 12 months, for a very wide range of people over that year. And effectively, I will run the class live. I will at the beginning. I'll just talk to everyone a little bit, explain what we're going to do, explain a little bit about myself. I'll give us all a chance to have a chat at the end when hopefully we're all feeling empowered. While we're doing the session, just because of how Zoom works, I will mute everyone else, otherwise the screen will keep swapping. But I'll be able to see everyone, and I'll be giving them some feedback. I'll be able to see how everyone's getting on. You can always unmute and ask a question if you're struggling with something, or pop something in the chat. But we will build it up quite gradually. So, I'll be able to look and see if people are coping. Say the advantage as well of the type of class we run is we can have plan A, B, C, D, and I can take it at whatever rate seems to suit the group that I have on the day. And if we're progressing fast, we'll continue to progress fast. If we're not, we'll stick with basic stuff, but still get a really good workout.
Great.
So
And you said no need for props, so
no, don't need anything
desire
at
to
all.
bring the other half in to have as a punch bag.
No, no,
um,
it's
but
in it.
water, I guess, have some water.
Yeah, wear a pair
Comfortable.
of trainers to help with balance. It's better than being barefoot or in slippers or anything like that, and have a bit of water in case you want it. Maybe, you won't want lots of layers. Depends where you are at home, but certainly if you're going to start with a jumper on, maybe have some layers so that you can take layers off as you go and you get warmer.
Okay, grand. So what do you think women will come away from this session with? What will it be something they'll be able to do at home afterwards?
I mean, they'll find out. I hope they'll get a little bit of inspiration from a bit of my history and how it's helped me. I hope at the end of it, they'll have tried something they probably never would have tried, and actually thought, oh, I quite enjoyed that. Past that, if it's something they then think, oh, I want to do a bit more, then obviously that's something we offer online. If they want to do something more face to face once COVID is over, then there'll be local places they can get involved in. But I think the main thing I would say is, you know, one of the best things for me is to try something that you never thought you'd try, that you feel is really going to put you out of your comfort zone, and succeed at the end of it. And I think with people's preconceptions of some of the things we're going to do and thinking, well, that there's no way that's for me, I'm too old, I'm not fit enough, I'm too fit, or I don't agree with the boxing side of it, whatever, just come and give it a go, because actually I think it'll be really enjoyable. And as I say, then at the end of it, you know, you'll be in a good place.
Yeah. Well, that's a nice place to finish up, just to, it highlights the whole ethos of what the Audacious Women Festival is all about, which is to do something audacious and do something that you didn't think you could, and give it a try. And this definitely sounds like one of those things. So can you just tell everybody when your event is?
So it's on next Sunday, which is the 20th, I think, and it's at 12 p.m.
Okay, and people can book their tickets on the Audacious Women Festival
I think
website.
it's set up as a separate event that they can go and book.
That's great. Well, listen, thank you so much for your time today, Rachel. It sounds like a great session. I think I'm going to book myself on, and I'm going to see if I can drag my 15-year-old daughter along too, and see if she'll participate.
It's great.
Probably only if she thinks she's going to get to throw blows at me.
No, a lot of our families do it together, and actually it's great to see, because that, you know, again, it suits a whole wide range of ability, and it's great to do something together.
Yes, it is. Well, listen, thanks very much for your time today, and we'll look forward to next Sunday joining you. Thanks a lot. Bye bye.